Hi Collective, welcome back to Cusp of Roses. This is our quick look into the full moon energy. We are under a Gemini Cancer cusp full moon. And I'm excited to bring this reading out to you all. I hope that you are sensing and feeling all the lovely energy here and with this full moon. And I kind of like that it's on the Gemini Cancer cusp here, right? Because yes, that Cancer energy gets us to really face our emotions, right? But we then have that mind activation there and interpretation and really get to communicate those emotions with that Gemini energy as well. So I'm excited to see what chakras might be active, what energy is, coming under illumination in this full moon for the collective, okay? But before we get into that, I am going to go ahead, offer up some gratitude, get into that portion of our reading, all right? Go ahead and do whatever affirmations, intentions, prayers, meditations, mantras, breath work, maybe a moment of silence or stillness, whatever really feels right for you, collective, in the now moment. I'm going to do the same, and then we will get into this reading. Thank you guys again for all your love that you show here on my channel, and as always, I hope that these readings show you that love back and serve you well. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, Holy Spirit, my ascended ancestors, the ascended masters, and all holy angels, I thank you so much for being here with me and with the collective here on YouTube for this full moon energy reading and a quick look into what chakra energy is important for us to connect to, heal, balance, pay attention to, and work with under this full moon, and how that can better serve the highest good of the collective. Divine, I thank you so much for clearing my energy and allowing me to channel the most important messages that this collective needs to hear in the now moment. For anyone who comes across this video, I thank you for that guidance for them. The grace, the mercy, the love, the protection, the peace, and the presence with us in this now moment. We love you, and so it is. All right, another cut here, and we will get into it. Let me make sure I have the book here. Hold on. Yikes. Oh. Okay. Thank you so much, Divine. What energy is here? You got let it go. Okay, heart chakra energy. Yeah, that's that emotional piece, right? With Cancer. Letting it go. Vibration of 24, breaking down into a 6. Really tapping into that heart center and love energy, okay? Thank you so much, Divine. Oh, I need to look at that. There's 2 hummingbirds there holding on to a knot or a thread or twine, I want to say. Yeah. It's really, really nice. Okay, that's interesting. I'm excited to read about that one. What other energy is here for the collective under this full moon? Okay. Wow. We have close encounters. Okay. This is water energy, vibration of 10, Sacral Chakra. Okay. And then we have exposed and revealed. That's a beautiful card. Vibration of 21, and this is fire energy, your solar plexus. Okay, so sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart chakra energies. For any of you new to chakras, there is a quick reference guide at the bottom of my description box. Make sure you check that out, okay? Make sure you also do your own research. I highly encourage you to do that, okay? Because what you find is going to be meant for you to understand, yeah? How you go about undiscovering chakras, that's your own path and journey. So close encounters, we have gotten this card quite a bit before. This is really about it's a level of vulnerability, right? It's about really, again, stepping into an authentic energy, but feeling what is true to you. Okay, like I said, with this Cancer piece to this full moon energy, the emotions are at the forefront. Okay, so there might be a lot of deep emotions that come up for you. Okay, things that might get exposed and revealed about what you feel. Like for some of you, that it's like a really, really deep emotional cleansing, Okay, and then it's like you become aware of it, and then you're able to let it go, like 8 of Cups energy. You're able to really like walk away from things, release and purge what you need to in order to really get closer again to your own personal vibration, but then also maybe to others. Like it just really feels like it depends here. Okay, but it does feel like this close encounters has something to do with family for some of you, maybe lovers, maybe friendships. Okay, the relationships that you are a part of. Okay, especially with the 2 hummingbirds being tethered together, there might be some emotional connections that you still have, or things that you're still holding on to emotionally that there's a need to let go of, right? That gets exposed under this full moon. Like I said, full moon is illuminating the energy. All right. All right, let's go ahead. And again, for my number people, you have 10 here with the water energy, also your sacral chakra, breaking down into a 1. You have 21 here with the fire energy in this deck, also known as the solar plexus, breaking down into a 3. And then you have the heart chakra here, vibration of 24, breaking down into a 6, right? We're in a 6th year. So this might be the starting point here for some of you, collective, right? And I'm just getting the energy of 6 months from this point on to 6 months out. I believe once you probably have that new moon in Cancer, I don't think that is that 6 months from now. That might be 6 months from now. Okay, but it feels like from now until the new moon in Cancer, there's going to be a lot that's exposed and revealed about some close relationships or close partnerships that maybe you have, or again, this emotional closeness. Like for some of you, that's important. Like what you feel emotionally attached to and connected to might be exposed, revealed. Things might shift in that way to the point where you're ready to let it go, ready to let it go these tethers and these connections. So some of you might be doing cord cutting under this full moon, or might be called to do some cord cutting over the next 6 months, like I said, up into that new moon in Gemini and Cancer, most likely, right? I believe that'll be in June. Okay, but all right, before we get into the tarot here, let's go ahead and read off these energies. Yep, like I said, close encounters, all about key concepts here. Vulnerability as a strength, letting others see your wounds as well as your strength, setting healthy boundaries. Okay, it says this is a time of connection that asks for you to be vulnerable and authentic. Let go of any social mask or constructs you use to keep yourself apart from others. Lower your shields and allow yourself to step into a dance of intimacy. Okay, so some of you, there might be a desire for intimacy that comes up under this full moon, especially with the Cancer energy and vibration. Okay, or you might be revealed, or things might be exposed about your level of intimacy, what you're comfortable with as far as intimacy is concerned. Okay, and maybe there's a need to kind of expand what you're comfortable with. When you become close to people, you remind yourself that you are not alone. You're a part of a beautiful, meaningful bond. At a deep spiritual level, there are so many lessons offered to you in this closeness. There's that word I was saying, right? At a social level, intimate relationships help you ignite the spark of life that is the power of affinity. You flourish as a result of offering emotional honesty, a true desire for equality, love, friendship, and laughter. We aren't meant to be alone, yet sometimes we are wounded and we build walls around ourselves so we don't get hurt again, hence the butterfly in the cage. Okay? It's time to be honest about yours and step out from behind that barrier and engage in all of life. This is a beautiful opportunity to allow your vulnerability to be your strength as you choose to live in integrity and without artifice, right? Even in your work life, this mode of connection allows you to be truly present. When you live this way, everything and everyone thrives. You have no need to defend yourself when you are being truly and utterly you. Empowered by your raw openness and willingness to be seen, in this way, your close encounters will not fail you. There is much to celebrate when you stand eye to eye, shoulder to shoulder, sharing your heart, okay? So it does feel like this full moon energy might be really breaking down some emotional barriers for some of you, okay? Things that you're still not ready to either face, talk about, feel through. This could even spark conversations that maybe need to be had with those closest to you, yeah? things that you've never shared with them before. Like some of you, it's like the people around you know you, but only to a certain extent. Do you know what I mean? They don't know the real, raw, and open you, okay? And I think this full moon is definitely going to draw in and illuminate where maybe you need to be a little bit more open and vulnerable, right? Have that closeness, like I was saying, with others, and allow people to get close to you. And I know that can be scary, especially if you have had some traumatic experiences and or just go through your own thing, or maybe not used to being emotionally close to other people. But it feels like that's the new start here. Like I said, from this full moon until the next Gemini Cancer new moon in June, okay? It's going to be all about kind of peeling back those layers, freeing yourself from whatever emotional barriers that you might have put up here, okay? Getting out of the cage, okay? Tell us more about this 10 energy. I kind of feel like, do I want to just read through these? Let's do that, okay. Before we even get into the tarot, let's just read through all of these right quick. Thank you so much, Divine, for being here. Yeah, here we go. Exposed and revealed, okay? Remember, this is solar plexus energy, fire energy. Key concepts here are healing shame, the imposter syndrome, letting go of self-condemnation, freedom from past unresolved wounds, focusing on self-worth, and the underlying beauty in rejection. Okay. When you experience shame, you don't just feel you've done something wrong. You feel like you are wrong, fundamentally flawed. Know that life loves you, and the universe doesn't make junk, only magic. However, many social interactions, especially online, are steeped in distorted, unhealthy ways of expressing pain by shaming. Here is the way out of this. See shame as the heart-wrenching cry for help that it is. Consider whether you could have been triggered in the outer world by unresolved issues that matched all your inner pain points. If someone is shaming you, perhaps you have triggered them. How miserable they must be to expend their energy on such toxicity. They are drinking poison, hoping you will get sick. You cannot love someone out of their shame. You can only show compassion for both them and yourself. Set a healthy boundary and refuse to fan the flames. Okay, there's that fire mention. Look upon shame as an opportunity for growth, evolution, healing, and freedom. With this in mind, can you let go of your attachment to control? I felt that attachment energy, right? So letting go of the attachment of control. Admit that this emotion isn't something you have power over and surrender to a higher power. There is a sacred quality to the vulnerability inherent in admitting you can't do this alone. When you allow yourself to be laid open in this way, you gain a beautiful new perspective. Then the healed shame has the infinite power of the divine to set you free. So maybe some of these barriers here, right, might be steeped in shame. Things that, again, like it says, when you experience shame, you don't just feel like you've done something wrong. You feel like you are fundamentally flawed. So some of you might be coming up with that. Like I said, this Cancer energy, it's going to ask you to go really, really deep and be honest with yourself and your emotions, right? Not project them out and pointing the finger and placing blame on other people. Really see the part that you might play in what you're feeling, okay? So for some of you, this is really, really steeped in shame, and that might be coming up. Some of you, it could be through the dream state, depending on how Cancer influences your natal chart here, okay? Or maybe you were born on a full moon. This might be a very, very pivotal time for you. But others of you, this might even be through conversations with other people. Yeah, like it says, social interactions that might touch on some pain points, okay? That still kind of show you where you're maybe a little still wounded, where there might be some insecurities there, or again, that feeling of shame that needs to be healed. And like it says, I love that it says that, right? You can't love people out of shame. You can't love people out of shame. All you can do is hold compassion for them and for yourself and set healthy boundaries, right? So it's really asking you here, collective, to go within yourself. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, let's go to let it go. Okay. It says key concepts: forgiveness, healing resentments, shedding the role of the eternal martyr. Ooh. Letting go of victimhood, cutting the ties that bind you to a destructive story. We had that, I think, on the last full moon, right? It's time to write a new story. Releasing pain so you can move into the lesson it offers, relinquishing the need to be right, okay? There are times in life when you must forgive, lest you become a hostage to your anger, frustration, disappointments, and resentments. This is not about condoning bad behavior or minimizing a hurt done to you. Forgiveness is simply a commitment to stop telling an old story so you don't carry its burden anymore. If you don't forgive, old hurts fester and become distorted, causing you pain over and over again. You became trapped in a prison of your own making. There's that butterfly in the cage again, right? So these are all tied. I love that. You became trapped in a prison of your own making, tied to the story that you were a victim. It's time to cut the invisible cords, like I said earlier, yeah, attaching you to the situation and preventing you from moving forward. The truth is, you are victimizing yourself every time you recreate the unresolved hurt in your mind or speak of it with friends. Rather than allow this folly to repeat, surrender the situation to your higher power. Now is the time for radical forgiveness. Say no to drama in all forms and forgive yourself and others for engaging in it. Consider the ancient Hawaiian practice known as Ho'oponopono. Okay, so that's a mantra, a Hawaiian mantra. I feel like I posted that on my Instagram last year when we started the new calendar year. But it is a very powerful mantra to really release not only yourself but those connected to whatever this pain might be, whatever these emotions are. Okay. I'll try to maybe repost it. Maybe that's what I'll do. Okay. Or I'll at least post it here. The simple prayer is a beautiful way to begin the process of forgiveness, right? So here's the mantra: I'm sorry. Please forgive me, or forgive me. Thank you, I love you. So I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. It's based on the idea that we are all responsible for the reality we see in the world. If something is awry, whether it's your perception or emotional reactions, your judgment, and so forth, it's up to you to clean it up. Forgiveness is the key to a liberated and meaningful life. No matter what method you choose, just do it. All right, so this is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful purging energy under a full moon. Can't ask for anything better than that, okay? But I do feel like for a lot of this collective, these are things that are a little deeper than just on the surface, right? It's like things that are really uncomfortable to talk about, really triggering to speak of, things that you're still shy about, still feel some sort of shame around, okay, that will get illuminated under this full moon in order for you to move into that realm of forgiveness, to let it go. But what I love about these three cards is they all talk about the personal responsibility we all have for that, right? Some of you in certain aspects or with certain situations might still be waiting on others to initiate this forgiveness process, right? Well, they have to come tell me they're sorry and da 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 da, or whatever the case may be. It's like waiting on someone else to bring you the justice you deserve, when again, you have all the power within you to act and create that justice for yourself, right? So that's really taking your power back from others, not leaving any part of your life in anyone else's hands but the divine and your own, okay? Easier said than done, 100%, but this is the journey of life. This is what we're all here to really learn, how to step into our own sovereignty, okay? So let's look into these messages. Thank you so much, Divine, for this beautiful, beautiful energy under this full moon. Tell me more about close encounters, exposed and revealed, and letting it go. For this collective here on YouTube, what do they need to know about close encounters, exposed and revealed, and letting it go? For this Sacral Chakra energy of close encounters, yeah. 8 of Pentacles. And this is what I was saying. Some of you have definitely let go of a lot of major blockages, right? Things that were very much so apparent, right? But with the 8 of Pentacles, it tells me that there's small, little tiny baby details, little tiny situations, right? So not the big overhauls, but the ones that are really, really deep within. that you're needing to focus on, that you're needing to sharpen up, that you're needing to kind of fine tune here, okay? Some of you, I'm getting like some of this emotional energy could be tied to career in some way, shape, or form for some of you, okay? But let's see what else. Yeah, 3 of Cups, social networks, community, friendships, okay? Just like this talked about, right? This is really like a relational energy. Some of you, again, I can't get away from that there's a particular detail or there's small things about relationships that you've had, friendships that you've had, communities you've been a part of, okay, that either hold you back. Now, for some of you, I feel like have been doing this work for a really long time, and doing this work of healing, of purging, of releasing these emotional barriers has almost kept you from enjoying life in some type of way. And I think this is where the shame comes in. This is where those stories that you tell yourself, right? It's like, this is, I think, how this is all tying in, because you're so focused on getting over those things. You're so focused on releasing it and purging it and almost trying to do it all in one swipe, or like closing yourself off until all the healing is done, and then branching out of that cage and being like, okay, now I'm fully healed. Now I'm ready to connect with others. Now I'm ready to be a part of other people's lives. Or now I'm ready for this level of closeness, right? Now I'm ready to have friends or build friendships or be more vulnerable. But for some of you, and I think most of us, right, it doesn't necessarily work that way. And I think that's what might be getting exposed and revealed to you under this full moon, that there has been a lot of attention, a lot of energy, a lot of time put into this healing work. So much so that you've maybe closed yourself off from everyone, right? Or that you're so deep in maybe that hermit energy and getting down into the root of it, right? Really finding out that soul print within you, spending time with yourself, that you might not even realize that you're caged in, right? Or that people find it maybe a little difficult to connect with you or get close with you. Okay? And that's okay. Like, we all, especially for those that are really journeying through spirituality, right? It can be isolating, absolutely. The more you dig, it's almost like the deeper you go in, the darker it kind of becomes around you. And then it's like people aren't down there digging with you, right? So it could just be kind of isolating for some of you. So I kind of feel like there's a need to say, and I don't want to say give yourself a break, because I feel like this healing work is super essential and very important, right? But there needs to be a balance. Yeah. There needs to be a balance, right? You cannot conquer all of your wounds in one night, right? To close yourself off and wait until you're completely healed, you'll never really tap into the world around you, right? You'll be so within yourself. Okay? And maybe it's time, collective, for some of you. You've done a lot of good work, right? When it comes to this healing, this releasing, and this purging, and this transformation, right? With these butterflies. But maybe it's time to kind of let other people in on that journey. I think for some of you, you've kept that process and everything you've gone through very close to the chest, very, very sacred, which is a beautiful thing and definitely needed. At certain points, right? But I feel like you're at a point now here, collective, where it's okay to talk about what you've learned. It's okay to be open about what you're going through, even if the people around you, the friends you have, the connections you're a part of, the networks, the community doesn't fully understand it. I think it might actually be very beneficial to just speak about it, talk about it, let it out. Like, I'm not saying go and educate all the people around you and try to force them into anything. No, but it's just like not hiding it, I think, is super important here for some of you. Because that might even be the shame. That might even be parts of that shame energy, that you've been doing this work and not telling anyone, but it feels so sacred and so close to you that it's almost like, well, will anyone understand? I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be critiqued about the work that I'm doing. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a delicate dance, right? Definitely use your discernment, especially when it comes to this Three of Cups, about who you want to maybe speak to that. Like, maybe not everybody, but just there might be certain people who might appreciate you speaking or letting them into your world a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? And others of you, that could even be the hurdle. It's like, I hear it in my head. Last time I let someone into my world, it turned into a total shit show, right? Or they used what they found out, or used my weaknesses against me, and like all of that. So work through that. But again, that's what's being exposed and revealed. Certain things that have to be let go of, okay? That narrative. Yeah. And then you got the Eight of Cups. So just further confirming the need to let that go. Okay. Because in essence, right, that would be making certain people pay for what other people have done. So it's like they didn't do that to you, but because that feeling of being betrayed emotionally, and or being left out in the cold, or just misunderstood, can be so jarring and can cut so deep. It's almost like you expect everyone to treat you that way. Right? And that's totally normal, natural, very, very human, okay? So have compassion towards yourself. Don't beat yourself up about that, but that's normal. We all go through those cycles, and then you come out of it like, okay, well, no, right? That's what I mean. This is taking personal responsibility for your own emotions, your own perspectives, your experience, not putting it in the hands of other people, okay? Tell me more about close encounters in this sacral chakra energy, right? Taking control there. The Wheel of Fortune, right? It's in your hands. What you put out comes back to you. What you allow will happen, right? But I do feel like this is a fortunate change of events. Okay, so this full moon energy is really going to shift a lot of you from being closed into that cage, being very comfortable in that cage, right? And others of you not even realizing that you built a cage around you by doing this work. Again, like I said, so focused on, okay, facing the fears, overcoming the trauma, identifying it, putting a name to it. Work so focused on that work that you don't even realize that you've kind of buried yourself a little bit. Okay, so there is going to be a shift that happens, I think, under this full moon, which will be at its peak by the time we finish this reading. Okay, so that's going to shift some things for you and get you to release, walk away from, again, whatever emotional barriers you might have put up, okay? What's the overall message here for this sacral chakra energy for the collective under this full moon? Yes, 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 yes. Four of Swords. Four of Swords, absolutely. Okay, some of you, and this is definitely going to be varied, some of you need to go into this Four of Swords, okay? Some of you, this shift is shifting you into working on those emotional barriers. So what's being exposed and revealed is that you do have these emotional barriers around you, and now it's time to actually get into that Eight of Pentacles energy and do the work, right? Others of you, you've been doing the work. You're very much so aware. It's been exposed. It's been revealed. You've been trying to let these things go and work through it. And I think this Wheel of Fortune is now going to shift you into that energy in order to really do it, right? So you've been in this Four of Swords for a while. You're finding the truth. You have your truth. You've healed whatever this betrayal, whatever these disappointments were, right? You've made peace with it. Now you get this kind of fresh start with the Wheel of Fortune, okay? All right, because it tells me that you've learned enough. You've learned enough from the pain. You've learned enough from whatever the lessons were in order to start anew. I like that. All right, let's look into the solar plexus. Thank you so much, Divine. Tell me more about the solar plexus energy of exposed and revealed for the collective under this full moon. Wow, Page of Wands. Love it. Leo energy. Okay. Tell me more about this Page of Wands. Wow, there we go. Got the Seven of Wands. You have Justice. I was talking about Justice before the cards even came out, right? Thank you, Divine, for that confirmation. And you got the Lovers. Venus. Gemini also, yeah. But still, it's this What I like about this is with the Seven of Wands, I'm getting this energy of that's the strength, the courage that's needed here to, like we said, rewrite the story, to not repeat those same stories of pain, to not kind of keep that in your verbiage or in your mental. Easier said than done, absolutely. But I feel like with this Lovers and the Justice, this is what I'm saying, for those situations, those connections that you've been a part of, or again, that maybe ushered in this season of pain, or disappointed you in some way, or hurt you in some way. It's putting the power in your own hands, Page of Wands, right? Working closely with the divine to bring that balance to yourself, okay? Trusting that you have enough strength, you have enough fortitude to act in that way, right? To invoke this energy. Something's definitely coming into balance, and I think it's beginning here with the Wheel of Fortune. So something churning, balancing out, shifting in your Sacral Chakra, right? Moves up the ladder there into your solar plexus, which a lot of sun energy, a lot of fire energy I like to see. Where it almost feels like there's this confidence. They're wanting me to say that word. There's just this determination, I almost want to say, especially with the Seven of Wands. There's this determination to get back into this frequency here with the Lovers. Again, it's the year of love, right? It's a 6 energy. To get back into union with that, to get back to a space where there's a lot of optimism, Page of Wands, about what's to come, right? They're seeing the light around, like I said, with the Four of Swords. It's gaining that truth, no longer being heavily affected by the betrayal, by the pain that has kept you guarded, that's maybe kept you stuck, or that's been hard or difficult to let go of. And again, that's just because something's hard and difficult to work through, like, that's not a point of shame, right? Trust me, we all have that work to do. And it's not something that can happen overnight, collective. That's like another thing I feel like I have to really truly say. That's not something that happens overnight. Letting it go, freeing yourself from it. It's a process. But I feel like for some of you, I think you've hit this wall here where it's like, okay, I know something has to change with the Wheel of Fortune. I know I have to shift into something different. Because sitting here, meditating on it, working through all of this, right? Like, it's getting to the point where I just don't know that you have the energy for it anymore, and that might be sign enough to say, okay, focus on something else. You've done enough of that. All right, tell me more about this Justice and the Lovers energy for the solar plexus. Yeah, 5 of Cups. Right, for the disappointments, for the pain, for yeah, it's like, I think too, that might even be a part of that artifice, or like that facade here, collective. Like, it's acknowledging the ways that you tend to cope with difficult emotions. I think that's just the overall key here. Acknowledging the ways that you tend to cope with difficult emotions. Okay? And being honest with yourself, right? About how much that coping mechanism actually does you good or serves you well, right? Some of you, the coping mechanism pulls you further and further away from this Lover's energy. But I think also with the Lovers, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. Again, it's learning about your own sovereignty. It's taking the power back from others, putting it in your own hand to say, I choose to love myself. I choose to care for me. I choose to bring in this justice and find balance with what I'm feeling. Right? Some of you looking at that 3 of Cups, it's like you're waiting for someone to come clean that up, like the book said. You're waiting for someone to pick up the cups, put the water back in, and it's like, that's your duty. Okay? You have the power, Page of Wands, you have the strength, Seven of Wands, to clean it up, to bring it into balance. Okay? And I think that's what's being exposed here. For some of you, it's like, I don't even think consciously you maybe are aware of that. For some of you, this is like a subconscious Five of Cups. The reason why things maybe feel still out of balance, or that this wheel isn't turning in your favor, is because deep down in your subconscious, you're still waiting on someone else to come clean it up for you. And that's okay. We all go through it. I can't say that enough. Like, we all have those moments. We all have to face that within ourselves multiple times. Like, you face it once, you'll have to face it again for something else. You'll have to face it again for something else, right? But I feel like what this full moon energy is really trying to tell the collective is that you have what it takes. You have everything you need to come out of this Five of Cups, to embrace what's changing here with the Wheel of Fortune, to have that balance and justice, right? And to get back in tune with this. Okay? Some of you could even still be waiting on like a lover or a love connection, or someone, like, that's what I'm getting to. Like, this could be definitely having to face a lot of disappointments that you've experienced romantically. Others of you, this lovers are like close friendships, family members, things and situations that you are tethered to. And again, for some of you, it's like you were born into these connections. But having to accept that not all of them lead to the sun, right? Not all of them bring out the best in you. Not all of them have worked out the way that you've wanted to, or have sustained the test of time, or even have the capacity to offer you what it is that you feel is your justice or what you're due. Okay? Some of you, this could even just be connected to parents for some of you, right? It's like, well, how could my parent not care for me? Or, you know what I mean? It's like really having to face those wounds. And not only face those wounds, but we'll move into this next energy, but let it go, right? Eight of Cups. Make peace with it. Four of Swords. All right, let's look into this. Thank you so much, Divine, for these beautiful messages for this collective. Tell me more about letting it go in the heart chakra. Yeah, the Tower. The Tower. So it feels like something is going to happen here, or maybe has already happened. The Divine is going to step in to, again, initiate this cord cutting, or the releasing of this attachment that some of you have. And again, I feel like for some of you, this is in family. And that can definitely be difficult, because it's like, well, how do I cut my family off? Or how do I detach from, you know, my mother or my father or my siblings, or like, you know, the people that were close to me, the village that you were born into. Some of you, it's like that. Others of you, it might be like a long-standing romantic relationship that you've had. Again, it varies. Take it how it resonates, okay? But tell me more about this Tower and letting it go. It feels like the Divine is ushering, though, in this ending. It's like the time is now. It's time to really sever what needs to be severed, okay, and release it. Tell me more about this Tower for let it go. Yeah, Six of Swords, because it's exactly what's holding you back. Six of Swords, moving forward, clear mind. Yeah. Some of you, this Five of Cups was causing so much fog and haze in your mental energy that it was hard to see life outside of that feeling of being disappointed, of sorrow, of pain, of depression. And again, it's like some of you deep down are still kind of waiting. It's like, okay, well, something's gonna happen to come lift me out of this depression. And it's like, no, babe, like, Page of Wands, Seven of Wands, you gotta muster up your inner strength and your fortitude to lift yourself out of this, because that's your responsibility. And I know that that can be hard to hear, especially when it's been people who have done us wrong. And it's like, well, I didn't do anything for them to do that to me. But that is true. Absolutely valid. But what you are responsible for is the emotions that it caused within you, what it triggered within you, right? What comes up within you if someone triggers you is not that person's issue to deal with. Now you can set the boundary with them. Okay, I don't want you to, trigger me like that again. But the remnants or the resonance of that trigger is for you to sort through. Okay. But once you're able to let it go and this Taurus finally comes down here and this change, sudden shift happens, it's like that fog clears. And then it's like, oh, that's what I've been holding on and letting go. And that's why I bring up family, because for some of you, it's so deep in your subconscious. I feel like Pluto is really, really close to this full moon. And I do not know why I feel like that, but I feel like Pluto is super, super close to this full moon. Because I feel like it's so deep in your subconscious that it would take an illuminated energy like that to dig and shine a light on Pluto, right? To go that deep. It's like, I don't even think some of you are really realizing it, that that's what you're operating in, and that's okay, right? But that's what's going to be exposed and revealed under this full moon, and definitely, like I said, over the next 6 months up until that next new moon in June. Okay, tell me more about this heart chakra energy and letting it go for the collective. Yeah, 7 of Cups. Like I said, it's so deep in your subconscious. Scorpio energy, Pluto. So deep in your subconscious that it might even be hard to pinpoint what you need to let go. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like this is really, truly digging deep. Now, some of you, if you've been doing this work, right, I feel like this Wheel of Fortune is bringing in this justice energy within you, right? Getting you back tethered to this Lovers, or again, finding some form of forgiveness with whatever this lover situation was. Again, doesn't have to be romantic, could be platonic. And then you allow this tower to happen, or maybe you invoke the tower. Okay, I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to cut the cord. Like I said, some of you might be cord cutting so that you can move on. Because I think what gets exposed and revealed for those that have been doing the work is just how much whatever that cord is, that tether, has been holding you back and keeping you in the same energy, in the same space, in the same cage. Yeah. Some of you are outgrowing this cage that you've built for yourself. Okay? And ready to move out of it. I love that though, because with the 7 of Cups, that means you're facing it. You're very, very clear. To clarify the 6 of Swords, you're very, very clear on what the confusion was. Very, very clear on what to let go. Now, some of you, this is the work, okay? So there's 2 extremes here. And a lot of you in between, all right? Take it how it resonates. Tell me more about this let it go energy in the heart chakra for the collective. Thank you. Yeah. 2 energies I have spoke on already. Strength. Needing the strength to let it go. The only way that you can get into that justice energy collective, and I think, again, that's what's being exposed and revealed under this full moon, is the work that you put into that. No one's coming to lift you out of this 5 of Cups. And please, please, please do not put that energy on other people. Right? It's no one else's responsibility. Like the book said, you can hold compassion for people, right? People can hold compassion for what you're going through, but it's not their responsibility to lift you out of it. That's your work, collective. And you got to take that power back. Okay, so that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of strength. It takes acknowledging your own shadow, your own pain, right? The roaring lion within you. And balancing out with the wisdom of the crow. Your higher self, your high priestess, your Hierophant. Okay? And then there's that Hermit. There's that Hermit. So like I said, it's 2 different spectrums. For some of you, this next 6 months is going to be all about this Hermit energy. Like I said, shifting you to get to do the work. The work you've been avoiding, the work that you're not even aware that you're ready to do or that needs to happen, but that's what's getting exposed and revealed. Oh, that's where that feeling of sadness, or that's why this gets me down in the dumps, or that's where that pain or those triggers come from. Okay, now I gotta face it. That's for some of you, Hermit. Others of you, You've been in that hermit minute. You've been in this hermit energy for a minute, right? You know it very well. And it's like, okay, I'm ready to emerge out of that cage. I'm ready to come out of this shell that I've built. Like I said, it all can't be done in one day, one night, 1 year, 10 years, 5 years. It's a process. It's continuous. But you got to get out there and you got to live life. Some of you, it's like, as safe and as comfy as that hermit energy can be sometimes, right? Like just being alone, you're not caught up in anyone else's drama. You don't have like, you don't got to explain yourself to nobody. Like it's just you, yourself, and yourself, right? Me, myself, and I type of energy. That's beautiful and it's needed. But I think for some of you, this Wheel of Fortune is shifting you out of that season. It's not needed anymore for the time being. I guarantee you'll meet this hermit energy again, okay? But for the time being, it's time to kind of maybe spread those wings, get a little bit more social, become that butterfly, show your progress. Like for some of you, that's what it is. It's like I was saying, some of you have been doing this work behind closed doors or just deep within yourself. And some people might even be interested, 3 of Cups, at what you've come across within yourself, what those revelations have been, what's been revealed to you through that hermit work. So there's some people around you that want to get in on that, want to be a part of that world that you've built, right? And I think the idea then of letting people in, that's where the fear maybe comes in, or that's where it gets a little like, okay, no, because I'm so used to doing this alone. How do I now do it in tandem or, with other people knowing it? It's like for some of you that could be it, but that also takes strength, right? Vulnerability as a strength. That's what this is about. Vulnerability as a strength. Some of you needing to dig deep to be vulnerable because that's also the other side of strength, right? It's not about how tall of a wall you can build around yourself. It's not about how strong that wall is or just how, how much you can brave the winter and the cold and not be bothered by it. That's not always about strength. That's really just endurance, right? Strength and endurance, very different. Hermit is really that endurance energy. Strength takes vulnerability. Strength takes that conversation with self in what am I afraid to do? And then figuring out how to do it. Okay. Some of you, that fear is I'm afraid to let it go. Because again, some of you, there might be like an identity around this pain for some of you. Again, 8 of Pentacles. You've been so focused on it, it's almost like become who you are. This pain, this 5 of Cups. And I think the divine is challenging the collective here to build a new persona. You're not your pain. You're not what other people have done to you, right? You're not even what you've done to yourself, collective. So some of you, this is even self-forgiveness. You're not your mistakes. You're how you bounce back from it. Strength. This is who you are, right? Ooh, all right. So a lot of emotions, a lot of feels, a lot of deep diving, a lot of beautiful work to be done here, collective, okay? But I definitely see you guys doing it, and I'm sending you so much love, courage, strength, and peace, yeah? To really face all of this for those of you that are starting on that journey, to find the courage and strength to be vulnerable with others. For those of you that have been in that hermit mode for a while, I'm sending all of that love out to you all, okay? And again, like I said, I think for this particular full moon, it feels very special. I feel like whatever, I'm gonna have to look that up because I do think it might be active with Pluto's energy. It's really getting the collective to kind of dig deeper, to shine brighter, to come out stronger, to come out more enlightened, more aware, freer, right? To really go down in order to free yourself more, come out of these cages, all right? And you're not alone in this, right? I'm a part of this crew too, so I'll be doing the work with you all, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this reading, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I hope that this served you well. Definitely let me know your thoughts, anything you'd like to share in the comment section below. Hi, cousin. Oh, no. Oh, that's just a bot. Okay. Just said hi to a bot, so that's cool too. But I will see you all a little later in this week, or maybe even tomorrow. I think I'll just jump into the love readings tomorrow. Yeah. So we can get those done before the weekend. But I will see you guys in our next reading. Thank you guys for being here.